All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the Slice. And we just saw last night one of the points, probably the point of the year, in another iteration of one of the most, maybe the top rivalry on tour right now. Carlitos Alcaraz versus Jannik Sinner. Sinner, the winner, takes out Carlos Alcaraz to level the head-to-head at 3-all in a pretty amazing match full of shot making, full of drama, full of suspense, and full of just watching these two young guys go at it, and just, to me, being so thankful that they came and are here and are going to be here for the next 10 plus years, hopefully. So let's talk about their rivalry. Let's talk about where they're at. And let's talk about what went differently in this match, which allowed Sinner to come out on top and get the W, upsetting Carlos Alcaraz. Here's the Slice. Welcome back to the show, people. Thanks for being here. Thanks for signing the gentleman's agreement, which is stolen from the My First Million podcast, which is, if you're going to watch this show, you got to subscribe. It's free. We work for you, but the only condition is you got to subscribe. So thanks for honoring that. We don't check it, but we just know that because you guys are the best fans in the world. You've all subscribed if you're watching here. So we appreciate it. That's all. It's the only ask I have. The other ask I have is to just wind back your memory to last night when we watched the point at 4-2, Sinner up in the first set, and the point of the year happened. It was absolutely crazy. I'm just watching it here because I can't show it, obviously, but the amount of variety in this match, the angles that they were basically playing with the entire point. It was cross court, up the line. Sinner has to run, hit the ball behind him. You can hear it. Sinner changing direction, going up the line with his backhand and crushing it back cross court. Alcaraz is sliding, squash shotting it both ways from his butt, standing back up. Sinner slicing it back in and then hitting the beautiful angle to win it. Carlos on the ground. Jannik going, give me some love. Give me some love. And the crowd just going nuts. I think there was like a 2-minute standing ovation. People couldn't believe it. Anyways, unbelievable point. Part of an unbelievable match. Part of an unbelievable rivalry between two unbelievable players. And that's just the best thing ever. That's what tennis, all of tennis history and drama basically is predicated on matchups and rivalries. We've obviously seen that amongst the big three. And the hopes of tennis fans, including myself, are that we're going to see this rivalry played out over the next 10 years, really, because Carlos is still 19, turns 20 soon. Jannik is 21, I think. So we should be able to see these guys go at it for a while. And here's the reason why I think, or I really like this matchup, because they're different players, obviously, but they're both so well-rounded. The reason I initially got all aboard the Jannik Sinner hype train was at the Next Gen Finals. I think this would have been 2018 or 19, when Sinner was there, and he did the fake drop shot forehand push slice against the player, and totally, like Federer has done, and he just totally put him out of place with that type of shot. It's like a skill shot. It's like an awareness shot. It's like a I've got the game shot. And then the rest of his game was just so big, huge power on both wings, sliding on the open stance backhand. Just seemed to have the entire game, but then also had that touch and feel and just general tennis IQ to pull that type of shot off and just be cool under pressure. That's when I was like, this kid's different. I think my top 10 predictions, I had him pretty high up there on the board, even as like a 17, 18-year-old. And then Carlos comes along, and I would say he's like a little more obvious that he has the incomplete package. He was unbelievable, springy, complete player, powerful, confident, all-court game right away, from 2020 when we started seeing him really to 2021, obviously huge. 2022, obviously announced that he's now elite, becomes number one in the world, wins the US Open. So that's obviously a no-brainer. Like, he's just the chosen child. And I think this rivalry right now is 3-3 head-to-head. It kind of really shows that although Carlos has had the better career so far and had has the better win percentage in general, as when they both get on court, it's pretty dang close. And Sinner has obviously found ways to beat and overwhelm, not overwhelm, but make Carlos peter out. And it's happened a couple times. In the UMEG final, I think, Sinner got Carlos back-to-back last year in the fall. Both times Carlos went away a little bit at the end of the match. And that happened again today or last night. So it's very interesting. And to me, they're both super well-rounded, but they're different still. Sinner is bigger, smoother strokes, a little bit flatter, kind of more easy power, but still just goes at it. Not as dynamic, explosive of an athlete, but he's like 6'3", I think. And then you got Carlos, who's like the ultimate explosive athlete, the ultimate firecracker, hits with higher racket speed than maybe anyone ever on his forehand. It's just crazy. So it's a little bit more fire from Carlos, a little bit more ice from Sinner, even in their personalities and celebrations, but just bang. Together, man, just makes such a good rivalry. And that's what I'm stoked to see more of. And that was shown last night. One other thing I got to mention before we get into the match, Carlos lost his number 1 ranking yesterday. So he was number 1 after winning Indian Wells, and he had to defend his title here, I think, to stay number 1 because he had 1,000 points on the line, obviously, from winning it last year. Wasn't able to do that. So a little bit of added pressure, I would say, on Carlos for sure that I kind of forgot about. Maybe I didn't really hear anyone talking about yesterday. But so that might have helped Sinner a little bit, but not to the degree where it made a huge difference. I think Sinner did a lot of things really well that maybe he didn't do as well in Indian Wells when they played just 2 weeks ago. So let's take a look at the stats here. This was the match last night. Sinner wins 6-7, 6-4, 6-2 in 3 hours. Pretty amazing. These two cats. So serving stats. Let's start there. Jannik Sinner, serve rating 268 to 221. 8 aces to 5. Carlos had 9 double faults, only 4 for Sinner. And then here's the meat. 63% of first serves in for Jannik, winning 68% of those and winning 55% of his second serve points, that's just a good serving performance for sure. You go to Carlos, I would say it's a little bit below average. 55%, too low. 66%, that's okay. Both good returners, so it's not going to be crazy either one. 68% is pretty high against Carlos Alcaraz. Great returner. 41% only won on the second serve, so Jannik Sinner was eating a bit. That's a 14% difference between the two of them. And then obviously Sinner saved 3 more break points than Carlos did. So yeah, if we're just gonna take it from there, Sinner had a better serving performance for sure. You could say obviously the conditions here in Miami are quicker, so the serve has more purchase. But if you're not getting the serve in, it doesn't matter and as much. And Sinner was getting it in where he wasn't back in Indian Wells as much, and he wasn't getting as many free points off it as much at all. So great performance from him on the serve. And then we just go down to the point stats, and the winners to unforced errors basically even for Sinner, even 1 extra in the winner category, and in a negative ratio for winners to unforced errors there for Carlitos, who probably acquired a bunch of those in the third set. Like if we go first set and look at winners, it was the opposite. Carlos had more than unforced errors. He won that. Second set, that's where it started to get a little bit reversed. Sinner, 11-8. Carlos only 4 winners in that set. And then set 3, things start to change. More double faults. Super high serve rating for Sinner. Super low serve rating for Carlitos. Started to get bad. First serve points won only 53%. And that's where the physical issues for Carlos started to come in, as should be kind of obvious. 10 unforced errors to 5 winners. So by that point, Sinner had kind of physically defeated his opponent there. And that's kind of where he ran away with it a little bit. So that's that. But when they were both playing pretty good and getting into these rallies, just the way that they're both able to change direction with the ball at will, very confidently, take the backhands up the line, go forehand up the line or cross court, is just so it makes the tennis so not predictable, so fun to watch, so on the edge of your seat when you're watching the match, because you're just like, we know that they both got incredible forehands, they both got amazing backhands, so it's just like they could go anywhere on the court basically with any shot. So the predictability is very low. To me, that makes it super exciting to watch. So yeah, Carlo or Sinner with Darren Cahill in the box. Great performance. Mental giant again, coming down from one set down against Carlos. He's done it a couple times now. Yeah, Carlos, great swing here after the Australian Open. You can't really knock it. Wins Indian Wells, makes the semifinals of Miami, number 2 in the world without even playing the only major here so far. So, I mean, pretty amazing stuff. Now, Djokovic is number 1 in the world without having played the U.S. Open or the French Open. Wait, no, the U.S. Open or getting any points for Wimbledon. So that's even more impressive. And he's going to be back hopefully soon. I would assume in Monte Carlo, which is where Carlos is going to go rest, I'm assuming, to play there. And in the meantime, Sinner will be taking on Daniil Medvedev in the final, where Medvedev will be playing or beat compatriot Karen Khachanov in the other semifinal. So let's take a look at those stats here quickly. Medvedev beats Khachanov. I haven't even looked at these stats. I didn't even really see any of the match, but it was pretty close, obviously. Daniil Medvedev wins 7-6, 3-6, 6-3, just over 2 hours, 2.25 hours, so not as long. Maybe quicker points with Khachanov, that's that can be typical. Point stats, let's go winners. Holy crap. Winners 37-21 for Medvedev, 53-11 for Khachanov. Khachanov has been playing good tennis. Like, let's be clear with that. He's been playing great tennis. I got my puppy coming in here trying to talk to me. She might have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to have to go help her. But Daniil Medvedev in the final to play Jannik Sinner, which I think is a great matchup, obviously. Let's just take a quick – I don't even know what their head-to-head is. I think it's actually 5-0 for Medvedev. So can Sinner upset Medvedev? Of course he can. Is he going to do it to win his first big title? That's the big challenge. The experience lands on the side of Medvedev. The pizzazz, maybe the momentum of a big win over Carlos Alcaraz lands on the side of Jannik Sinner. So it's going to be super interesting to see. On the women's side, ran out of time today to talk about it, but Alina or Rybakina going for the Sunshine Double. Pretty crazy stuff. We'll talk about that after that match, and we will see you then. Thank you for being here for the slice. We'll leave you with the outro. Let me know your thoughts on the Carlitos-Sinner matchup down below. What you think is going to happen in the final, and it's going to be great. I can't wait. See you guys soon.